Many, many factors are involved. You started off by talking about your grandmother, and she used to read all sorts of stuff. She did the work, however. She did a lot of housework. There weren't the gadgets which were introduced in the 60s and 70s, and that the housework took a lot of calories out of it. The second thing is basically that the food industry has been allowed to get away with it because our governments and successive governments for the last 30 years have not got a grip on what was already identified as a problem. And we've got to do something about the latter to begin with. Boris Johnson came out with a strategy in July of last year. Doesn't go far enough. He's got to really sit down with the experts, with the specialists, and say, this is a strategy which we've got to have, which will actually solve it. And he has a strategy in Downing Street. He invited the chief medical officer in 2019 to write the strategy for him, and then he ignored it. So the sooner we get around to looking at the paperwork, finding out what has been recommended, and implement it all at the same time, then we might be starting. Unfortunately, we're so way down the line that Johnson's devout wish to halve childhood obesity by 2030 has gone out of the window. And you mentioned COVID. During the last 2 years of COVID, children have put on 4% extra of obesity in those 2 years. Unbelievable, staggering figure. And we've got to really attack this vehemently from the beginning, from birth onwards, and stem it and nip it in the bud.